Do you find it hard to do what's right? Do you slip up from time to time? Do you have goals that you're trying to reach? And sometimes you just fall short. That's truly, truly, truly how I feel sometimes. There are times in my own life where I I know, I know what I should be doing. I know sometimes the strategy on even how to get to where I need to get to, but sometimes I still slip up. Like how this is tough to even admit on a live, but I talked to my wife about this, and I talked to my accountability partner about this. And maybe I briefly touched on this before in the past, but sometimes I think I'm afraid of success. Have you ever felt that way? Sometimes I think I'm afraid to succeed. Like I can see myself in the future, but then I worry about the people who I might leave behind once I get to this just this version of myself in my head. Right? I have a place I want to get to in my head. There's a way of there's a person who I want to be, there's things I want to be able to do, there's lives I want to be able to touch. But then I worry that as I push forward, right, towards my goals, I worry that I might have to leave some family behind. I might have to leave some friends behind. I don't worry about leaving my spouse behind because my spouse, my wife is on board. My wife is on board. She understands where I want to be. And my wife married me when I had a hope and a dream. I was working a decent job, but when she met me, I believe I was working at a college, and I was making, I don't know, probably $5,000 to $10,000 less than what I was making at my job prior to that because I got laid off. So she had met me when I had a hope and a dream. She had met me when I don't even think I was even making videos at this point. I don't even think I had any type of following. Mind you, my following is probably like this big right now, but she had met me at that time. So she understands what I'm building, and she understands that. So I don't worry about that, but I really sometimes, sometimes I think about, okay, well, if this thing, not if, but when this thing really takes off, what does that mean for other people around me? And truthfully, if you feel this way, and it doesn't have to be like your YouTube channel, it doesn't have to be something like that, but like when you graduate school, do you fear that that success is going to interfere with your relationships? If you take your dream job, do you think that will interfere with you and family? If you get to a place where you can look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what, I am a success. Do you think you'll have some haters? Do you think you'll have some people who may turn their back on you because you're no longer in that bad situation with them? We call it crab in the bucket mentality. They want to pull you down back into that bucket, but you swing your legs and you get out of that bucket. What do you want to achieve? And what are the negative beliefs? What are the things that you use as an excuse to not pursue them? That's what I'm getting at, because that's what I do to myself, and it's self-sabotage, right? Self-sabotage is purposely doing something. All right, purposely doing something to prevent you from moving forward. All right, and it's a habitual thing, right? That's self-sabotage. That's This person didn't get in your way. That person didn't get in your way. The boss wasn't the issue. The issue was you. The issue was you. That's self-sabotage. And I find myself doing that to myself at times. I find myself clearly, all right, Julian, you got to do X, Y, and Z, A, B, C, one, two, three. And then I get going and I say, well, what if it doesn't work? Well, what if nobody cares about it? And the truth of the matter is, listen, if you don't get going, if you don't start trying, then you'll never know what happens. And even if you fail, right, there's learning and failure, right? There's so truthfully, there isn't ever a failure when you learn, right? And that's what failures should do. Failures, we should be failing forward, right? Failures should propel you to move forward, because if you do enough wrong things, right? If you do enough wrong things, eventually you're gonna find the right thing. They say, I don't know how many times Einstein failed, or even Thomas Edison. I don't know. You got to, somebody has to fact check me on that. But they say like he failed, I don't know, 100 times, hundreds of times, something like that, before he developed his inventions. And so each failed experiment is just one thing to cross off the list. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, that didn't work. That didn't work. And eventually you find the right thing. But that's if you don't sabotage yourself. What if our inventor said, hey, nah, this ain't gonna work, and they quit after the third or fourth time trying to, we wouldn't have the things that we have today, right? I wouldn't be able to talk to you just like this, via this camera, and have lights and things like that, right? If the smart folks who had an idea failed to push themselves through failure. So I want to say to you that if you are constantly sabotaging yourself, you move forward and then you just stop. You just stop. You say, hey, you went to the gym one day, had a good workout, and then you don't go for 2 weeks. Not because you were busy, not because, hey, I want to tell you that it's all in your mind, right? And that battle always starts here. Whatever you think, right? Whatever happens in your life always starts with a thought. It's whatever you think, and then once you think it, then you can believe it in your heart, and then it becomes an action and you actually do it. So that's why we can't get so caught up with, okay, well, what if it fails? Or what if this person leaves me? Or what if I have to leave certain people? Truthfully, once you are on a road to success, the people who fall off, they're meant to fall off. They're meant to fall off, because those are people who can't go, won't go, or are unwilling to grow. And so you can't take extra baggage with you, right? You got to be light when you're going up the mountain. The more you have on your back, the harder it's going to be. And so sometimes God just sheds that weight off of you. And that's how you have to look at it. And hopefully eventually they'll be inspired by your success. And by that time you have a roadmap to get up the mountain. Hopefully they'll come up, but you can't always take people with you. But anyway, I'm getting off topic kind of. The battle is in your mind. The battle is in your mind. So you got to be able to surround yourself with the right people. You got to be reading the right things. I want you to stay in your word. I want you to stay connected to God. I want you to stay in prayer. I want you to remove any and all distractions, because distractions are coming. Distractions always come. Sometimes even your own thoughts are your own distractions. So that's why you have to keep yourself, right? If you're constantly feeding yourself the right things, you're constantly reading the word, you constantly think about things that are pure, things that are lovely, things that are excellent, things that are praiseworthy. You're constantly bombarding yourself with those things. It's almost like, and it's not brainwashing, but it's almost like brainwashing yourself to have faith. It's just feeding yourself enough positive food so the negative has less of a chance of getting in. It's like when I have a leak in my basement. When it rains, I get this leak that go into my basement, so I got to get some Flex Seal and put up on the wall. The more Flex Seal I put on the wall, right, it doesn't mean that it won't rain. But the more I put on the wall, the more there's something to protect it from rain seeping in. And so you got to put your Flex Seal on. All right, you got to put your Flex on. You got to put your cement up. You got to have a barrier that will prevent, because things will happen. People will talk, right? Your thoughts will get you'll have periods where you won't want to do it. You'll have periods where you'll get bored. You'll have periods where you question yourself. And so you have to have those things set up in advance and be feeding yourself the right things. So when those thoughts come, when those people start talking, you fed yourself so much positivity, you're so full of the word that the Holy Spirit's like, skrr, skrr. There's a tire screeching, by the way, skrr, stopping it right in its tracks. Nope, can't hear that. I've come too far. Nope, can't hear that. I think about things that are pure, that are lovely, things that are praiseworthy, things that are excellent. Nope, can't hear that. I'm a child of God. Nope, can't hear that. I'm the head and not the tail. Nope, can't hear that. These are the things that we have to be focused on. So again, it's giving you something to think about.